I'm Shay. I'm here on an island in Maine and thought this would be a good time to do some more tutorials, which I haven't done for a little while. Today I'm just going to show a diamond pattern, and this is something that's super versatile. You can use it as a chest harness, you can use it basically, thigh, a calf, anywhere. You can do two thighs together, and it's the same pattern that you just apply in different ways. I'm going to show it on my pillow, which I think is a little more straightforward for folks to practice learning the pattern. I think it's easier to start pretending that you're on a chest, so pretending that for pillow purposes, these would be my shoulders, my arms are coming out here, neck would be in the center, and that just allows a little more space at the start of the tie. After that, I'm going to show how to adjust it so that you're starting as if you had a just single column that you were working with. I am going to start with some jute, and then when I need to add some rope, I'm going to add a piece of nylon just to show some color contrast, which I think makes the pattern a little more clear. I would say this type of tie, since it does rely a lot on friction, I think is a lot easier to tie using something like a natural fiber, jute, hemp. Little tricky with something like nylon. It's going to tend to slip around and become misshapen because the friction just isn't going to hold it as well. Starting with my pillow here, what I want to do is kind of create an X, and again this would be going across like this. We're going to do it on a pillow, and I'm just going to reverse tension on the back, so crossing the front and reverse tension in the back. Alright, just kind of getting that centered. A little tricky on a pillow, not many anatomical landmarks here. And then I'm going to circle around again. And in the front, I want to anchor in the center. So this would be kind of on one side of the neck, and this would be right about in here. Generally, a little bit lower is going to be more comfortable, not up on the collarbone area, not as great. So this is a centered friction that I want to hold. There's different ways to do this. I'm just going to pull a loop underneath my line and then come up through that loop right here. So I'm coming under and through. Right like that. And at this stage we want to kind of dress that out. There's different thoughts in terms of most folks who tie a lot with natural fibers will tell you that this friction should be folded. It depends, I think, somewhat on the effect that you're going for and what you intend to use it for, but frictions will generally be more compact if you're folding the rope instead of having it lay flat. So something to keep in mind. So now I'm coming, and again this would be across the other side of the neck and around. And what I want to do here is just anchor to this point, and I'm going to come back and reinforce it, so it doesn't have to be perfect right now. And there's multiple different ways that I could do it, but I just want to think about what is my intention and where do I want to be going next. For that purpose, I'm just going to come here and then start to loop back around, and I'm following my prior wrap and try to make sure that's centered-ish on my beautiful pillow, coming around to the front. This is where we're going to start the diamond pattern. So I'm going to come, and it doesn't really matter. I could go under first, I could go over first. We'll talk about how to kind of make it symmetrical and cute, but either one is going to be fine. I'm going to start by coming under, and of course my rope likes to get stuck on some branches. Maybe we'll just get that branch out of there. All right, and then through here, I'm just creating a little friction here so that I can create the points of my diamond. So this is going to be the outer point of the diamond shape that I'm making. Okay, like that. And this you could experiment with where you want to place it. Could be further out, could be further in. It's going to depend on the size of human that you're working with, the size of body part, so all of those factors you can experiment with. All right, The next step is kind of odd. What I'm going to do is just spiral around. I'm kind of creating the next wrap, and then I'm going to anchor to all of it. So I'm spiraling around parallel to this line, spiraling around, don't need to do anything back here, coming around to the front. Once I get here, I want to make my diamond point right here. So I'm going to do that just by making a loop right there, and then coming back through that loop. There's other cute ways to do this. You know, how cute do you want to be? How much time do you want to spend making this perfectly symmetrical and lined up, etc. So there we go. Hard to see it from that perspective. Something like that right there. And then I want to anchor here, and I'm going to come around to the back. If I want to make this cute, then I want to maybe mirror what I did on this side and do the kind of opposite mirror image on this one. So for that purpose, I'm going to go over first and then around and across, which you can see mirrors what I have here, which I think looks kind of cute, but you wouldn't, it's just a little aesthetic touch. So try to straighten out, you know, pillows, not the most structural integrity. So that's the start of my pattern, and now I have to anchor here in the back. So coming around to the back. Right here, what I want to accomplish is I want to anchor to this and kind of lock this down, and then create a stem coming down to this wrap that I created. There is not one true way to do this. You could use frictions, you could do, you know, some pitches, you can do however you want to accomplish it so that you are accomplishing that basic thing. Because I am a Western style person, one of the first things I was taught is that whatever your rigging problem is, weaves are probably the answer. So my inclination is always to weave. There's not, again, a true way, but for weaves you kind of look at like where do things want to go, and then you push them the opposite way. So this is kind of popping up, so I'm going to push it down and weave over, so over, under, and then let's see here, over, under, and over, under. So I kind of came around. If I felt like that wasn't going to be quite secure enough, I could tie a half hitch over here. You could also do an X friction. You could do some other different frictions. Whatever you choose, the point is I want to anchor this, get it all in a place, and then I'm going to come down and create my next stem. The way that I'm going to create this stem is, again, not one true situation. I like to come under and then around like this, kind of making a little coin, and then I'm going to come across this direction, and I'm going to combine my rope so that you can see, and hopefully the fact that this is a different rope material and totally different color will make it a little bit more obvious. You can combine, you know, I'm not teaching how to combine rope per se, but I'm just going to do it that way. I'm coming below my previous wrap, so coming below, and then coming around, and then I'm repeating the same pattern again. So I want to kind of look at how this one is here, and I'm going to try to imitate that. So it looks like we're coming over, actually this one's coming under first. So under, right? And then around, yes. And that's, like I said, just an aesthetic touch. I kind of like it if they're the same on each row here. And trying to look at placement, a little tricky given pillow life here. All right, but I want to kind of line these up, line these ones up so that we're nice and symmetrical. This isn't going to be perfect because it's a pillow. All right, then doing the same thing again. We're just repeating all the same steps. So next I'm going to do that spiral around. So I'm coming spiraling around, pulling up weeds, apparently. I'm just going to kind of get rid of these ends so that they aren't dragging in our way, hopefully. We can see what we're doing. There we go. All right, so I'm spiraling around my pillow here, coming back to the front, and I'm going to add the center of my diamond. I'm going to do, again, pulling up underneath and then coming, so pulling underneath and coming up through there. Right like that. And let me see if I can actually see what I'm doing. Try to get the twist out there. All right. And you can see that the nylon, again, it doesn't want to hold tension the way the jute does, so it's causing me lots of fun. And then I come here and I'm going to try to just imitate this step that I have right here. So I'm coming over and around to tension that off, and then crossing right here. And when I come to the back, I'm going to do the same concept. Is what I'm trying to accomplish here is to lock off to this situation right here and come down and create a stem. This is going to be complicated by my knot, so try to ignore that because you'll be locked in a different place. My inclination here, and again, you could do a friction, you can do whatever you would like. The goal is to lock off to this and create a stem going down. So I'm just going to weave because that's the kind of person that I am. So I kind of came over, under, over, under, over, which I think tends to look pretty cute. Super stuck on some weeds. Gotta love it. You know, I could be doing this in the cabin, but obviously then you wouldn't have this background. So, you know, the things I do. So this is like that. And I'm just gonna tie a ½ inch over there just to really feel like this is locked down. Right there. And since this is a pillow, it's being not the best tension because pillow. So, but I've locked down here and I'm going to come back and this just all repeats. And how many times can you repeat this? I don't know. How much rope do you have? How much patience do you have? How much space on a body do you have? So again, right here, I'm just going to create a stem, lock around right here, and then come across, and same situation, I can repeat again. So I'm coming over, under, and around, trying to kind of line that up, and the spiral around again, come right here, making the point of my diamond right here, coming up through that little loop, trying to keep all this in place because pillow plus nylon, interesting combination, life choices. And then when I come here, same thing, just kind of creating that friction and coming back around. And so that is the basic pattern. Not too bad considering I haven't looked at the front of it until just now. So I'm going to next show how would you finish this? I mean, you know, anywhere you want to lock off, I would add some more rope and just do a friction, half hitch, something like that. And what I want to quickly show though is how you would kind of think about it if it was only one column instead of having this shoulder situation. Basically it's the same, but you don't have as much space on this X. So we can kind of think about if we were to work this out this way, like that. So that would be the basic approach. So same thing, but it doesn't have as much separation for that initial X, which makes it, I think, a little bit harder to visualize as you're working through it. But then this pattern we can do on any column, and you don't need things like shoulders, arms, and necks to make it work. So I'm going to show this next on my calf, but same basic pattern.